Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. Let's talk about my Hobonichi Cousin 2024. I'm honestly so excited that this won the poll I did. I mean, I was always going to make it anyway at some point, but I'm really glad I get to make this video first out of all the ones I suggested because I'm so excited to get started in this book, to the extent that I'm actually going to be starting in it tomorrow. If you're wondering how that's possible because the weekly pages don't start until the 1st of January, let me explain that to you later. Anyway, yeah, this is the book I've chosen for 2024. I've gone back to my beloved full year Hobonichi Cousin, which, as I've alluded to before, is actually the book I started with in 2023, but then I spilled a cup of tea all over it and had to retire it and got a Cousin of Eck instead. Anyway, I'm back to the full year book this time, just because I think it's really nice to have that big archive of a year just in one book. And also I'm lazy and don't want to have to set up monthly pages multiple times. So yeah, love the full year book. Also just love the colour, the Avec, not the blue one that's the second half of the year, but the first half of the year, I think we all know is a questionable colour. It's just this disgusting yellow monstrosity. Anyway, very glad that they didn't do that for the full year cousin. This beige is much more pleasing to the eye. So what I thought I'd do is just take you through how I'm going to use all the different spreads and different pages. Before I do, let's just talk about some basic setup stuff. I've got the Coffee Monsters Co. tabs on the side here. I bought the ones that match the Hobonichi colours because in the daily pages, I'll just flick to a random one. Each month has an assigned colour. So I went with the tabs that match that. I just thought that looked kind of cool, so I went with it. I've also got a couple of extra tabs here, these Midori clips, and that is for pages that aren't usually a designated thing in the cousin, but I've made them a designated thing, if that makes sense. They're kind of just random pages that I want to flip back to a lot because of how I've set them up. So yeah, that is all very vague and confusing. I feel like it'll become clearer once I actually show you what's on the pages. So why don't I actually do that? Because I think that's basically all you need to know about this. So this is my inside cover. It's an explosion of colour and chaos. I decided to essentially make almost a mood board of a lot of the things in life that bring me the most joy. We've got some of my special interests represented here. For example, these stickers that are beautiful of little scenes or moments from the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, which is my favourite film. I've also stuck in some little pixel art stickers of my favourite Pokemon of all time. I am a Gen 2 obsessive. Gen 2 is when I started playing not only Pokemon, but video games. The first video game I ever owned was Pokemon Crystal. Some of the recognisable Pokemon from that game have a very special place in my heart, like my pal Suicune down here. Also have Celebi, which is just very cute. I might also stick a few more. As you'll see, there's a big blank space here. I'll explain that in a minute. It might end up having more Pokemon in it, or it might have other things. Anyway, back to what else is represented here. We've got planner stuff. This is from Salam Creative, and it just sums up my attitude to planners and journals, I guess. Then other hobbies represented are obviously gaming, reading, which I'm hoping to do a bit more in 2024. Then we've got my love of cats represented with these little Midori cat stickers. There's one here that you can barely even see. It's kind of translucent, and here actually. And then this cat eating a cake that I got as a freebie with my latest miso paper order. And I love it. I think it's very cute. So I stuck it in here. We've got tea represented. I cannot live without it. I don't drink coffee, so it's my big caffeine source, and I need caffeine to live. And then we've got some Taylor Swift stickers, and all of them kind of represent an attitude I want to take into 2024 with me. So this one is from Look What You Made Me Do. Honey, I Rose Up From the Dead. I do it all the time. And for me, that symbolises that in 2024, I want to kind of reinvent myself to an extent, not fully, but there are things about me that I would like to change, which I'll get into on a later page. So that kind of represents that I would like this year to be a year of rebirth, regrowth. Regrowth? Is that even a thing? I don't even know. Also, I just thought the tombstone looked cool. Then we have This Pain Wouldn't Be Forevermore from Evermore, from the album Evermore. I've said the word Evermore a lot of times there. It's basically my favourite song of all time, and I would like to take in the attitude of recognising that pain doesn't last forever. Because I know when I get in a bad mood, I'm literally I'm never going to feel happy again. This is the worst thing ever to happen to me. And usually, that's just not true. This is from Mad Woman, What a Shame She Went Mad. I'm not advocating for like actually losing your marbles. Like, I'm not planning to go insane in 2024 any more than I already have throughout my life to this point. What that kind of represents for me is that often when women are assertive or strong-willed or kind of stand up for themselves, society demonizes them a bit. You're like bossy or like a bit crazy or mad. And I, in 2024, want to be more assertive. I want to stand up for myself more. I want to have more of a backbone. And I want that even if, you know, society thinks that makes me some kind of witch. And then we have life was a willow and it bent right to your wind. This for me represents that I want to do more things for myself in 2024. I want to kind of bend life to my wind. I want to prioritize myself and my needs and things I want to do. Last thing to mention about this page is this bit's empty. It will be filled, but I ordered some more stickers that relate to like some of my other major special interests, and they haven't arrived. And honestly, I'm getting a bit worried. They were put in the post like well over a week ago now, and things that were dispatched after those stickers have already arrived, but those ones haven't. And I'm upset because honestly, I think the stickers that have gone missing are my favourites. I've got a Nandor the Relentless sticker, my favourite vampire of all time, which is an odd sentence to say, but it's true. I've got a Frasier and Niles, like, clinking coffee cup sticker, and Frasier is, like, my favourite show of all time. And then I've ordered some Animal Crossing stickers, specifically of some of, like, my favourite characters that are in my village right now. And, like, I want them there. I want them there. But they're not here, and I don't know where they are. And I ordered them without tracking, which with hindsight, I shouldn't have done. I really hope they turn up. I feel like no, like, mood board of my interests and personality would be complete without What We Do in the Shadows, Frasier, and Animal Crossing. Like, they're 3 very important things to me, so... Yeah, obviously, if they do arrive and I update this, I'll show you that in a future video. But for now, this is the final mood board situation. And with that, I think we can move on to the next spread to show you, which is actually marked with this little Minori clip here. And it is the calendar pages. Now, anyone who's had a Hobonichi Cousin will know that they give you a full page of the current year calendar. And then on this page, there's usually the previous year and the next year. And I just never look at that. I never look at the previous and next year calendars, to be honest, so I thought, let's cover it up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the calendar first. I have also covered that up with Helen from the Coffee Monsters Co's beautiful, like, monthly stickers. I loved this theme of flowers. They're also beautiful. And yeah, I prefer them to just the bog standard Hobonichi calendar, so decided to use them here. Then on this page, I covered it up with a blank, like, graph paper page from a Hobonichi notebook. And it looks okay. Like, I didn't do the best job of getting it flat. Like, there's some crinkling here, and I'll be honest, I covered up the worst sins with some washi tape. But yeah, I covered it with a piece of paper and then decided to write my intentions for the year. I'm deliberately saying intentions and not goals because something about my neurospicy brain does just not react well to the word goal. Maybe it's demand avoidance or something, but if I set something as a goal, I am likely to not do it. So intentions seems like the better word for me. And yeah, I split my intentions for the year into like 5 different categories. I've got like the personality ones, which I kind of alluded to when talking about my stickers, that there are a couple of things that I'd like to change about myself because the way that I'm acting now is just not good for me. Specifically, like, it sounds weird, but I just want to be less nice. Like, I'm a very nice, kind, people-pleasy person. And, you know, to an extent, I think that being kind to people is a good thing. Like, you don't want to be a dick, you know? Like, I'm still going to be kind to people. It's just, I take that a bit far sometimes, and I'm kind to people when they don't deserve it, like they deserve to be challenged on how they're treating me. I people please to my own detriment. Like, I do things for other people when I don't really have the energy or, like, the mental capacity for it. I don't really stand up for myself in situations where I perhaps need to. So yeah, I would like to show up for myself more. That's kind of how I summed it up. Like, I show up a lot for the people in my life. Like, one of the things about myself I really like is that I'm super loyal and I will defend the people I love, like, to the end of the earth. But I don't extend that treatment to myself, and I want to, because I think that's very important, just generally as a concept, to be kind to yourself and show up for yourself, and even if it's difficult, do things that you need to do for yourself. The other like personal one is overcoming internalized shame and self-criticism. One thing that kind of became clear to me, particularly over the last couple of months actually, this is like a new realization, which is wild actually, is that when I talk about myself, other people have started pointing out that I just like, I'm not very kind to myself. Like basically whenever I talk about myself and what I've done and like how I reacted to certain situations, I always paint myself in like the worst possible light. And I'm like, I should have known better. I should have realised that this person was taking advantage of me, or like I should have twigged sooner that this was what was going on. And friends have actually started being like, no, like, no, you shouldn't. You didn't know any better, and actually you were not the problem in these situations. And this was just like revelatory to me, which says a lot about, you know, the way my brain works. But I just assume that, you know, in the words of my beloved Taylor Swift, I'm the problem, it's me. And yeah, you know what? I'm not actually most of the time. One of the things I want to do in 2024 is just overcome that just tendency to always think I'm the bad guy, that I've done something wrong, that I'm the one who needs to do better. Like, yeah, basically just being kinder to both my past self and my present self. So yeah, that's the personal stuff. The health stuff, the first one is moving my body more. I'm going to talk about that more on the yearly pages because that's what I'm going to use the yearly pages for. There's also just having fewer takeaways for the sake of my gut, because with the stomach condition I have, I really shouldn't eat super high fat foods, but at the same time, I really like super high fat foods and it's not good. Basically, for the sake of my own health, I really need to start cooking more fresh meals and like using fresh vegetables and not just ordering a Domino's pizza whenever I'm stressed. All right, on to finances. This is probably the one I'm most excited for and like really want to commit to, and that is low spend all year. I have this horrible habit of, if I'm stressed, I'm like, let's seek out some quick dopamine and just buy some random stuff. Like whether it's books or games or stationery, I'm just like, gotta buy a thing, it'll make me feel better. And like, that's just not financially a good decision. And also it's just hyper consumerist, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to be very limited in, you know, my environmental impact on the world and like, you know, my consumerism. So I'm very committed to not really buying stuff this year except essentials. So like if I run out of pens, I'm gonna buy more pens. Or like if I run out of, I don't know, tights because the cat's shredded them all again, which she did do a few weeks ago, I'll buy more tights. But I'm not just gonna buy random stuff because in that moment I impulsively want a hit of dopamine, and that's like the easiest way I can think of to do it. The kind of big areas to cut down on for me are books. That is a big one. Like I have so many books that are unread, and yet I just buy more. And there's too many books. I never thought I'd say that, but there's just too many books on my shelf. Like, I need to get through some of them before I buy any more because it's just a lot. So yeah, not gonna buy any new books until I've read at least a majority of the ones I already own, if not all of them. Also the same with games. I keep on buying new games when, as mentioned in my previous video, I have like 9 on the go. And yeah, whenever there's a Steam sale, or whenever there's a sale on like the Nintendo store, I'm there, buying cut price games that I'll probably never play. So that's gonna stop. And then the other big one is stationery, which I know is probably a big thing in this community, just like constantly buying new stickers or new pens, new washi tapes, because people are always putting new ones out and everybody else is buying them. But it just means that I hoard all of these supplies and then never use all of them. So like this year I'm committing to not buying any new like stickers or anything like that until I've used my current ones. It's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm really excited to actually commit to that. I think it's gonna be really good for me and very good for my bank balance, very good for the planet, and hopefully it'll help me with my second goal, which is to grow my savings. I haven't given like a specific amount by which I want to grow the savings because I feel like a lot of that just isn't even in my control. Like it depends on whether the energy company keeps putting the bill up, which they do repeatedly, or if the pet insurance company keep putting the bill up, which they do repeatedly. So yeah, I'm not being specific there. Just buy anything would be good in this economy. Let's be real. Relationship goal wise, I can basically sum this up by saying I want to focus more on the relationships and friendships and whatnot that bring me the most joy, which I think is fair. Luckily, they pretty much all do because the people in my life are pretty fantastic. Hobbies wise, I think I have the most goals in this section. The first one is going deeper, not wider, which is based on the concept of a depth year, which is something that Bez on Discord introduced me to. Thank you, Bez. There's like an article that kicked all of it off, and I'll try to remember to link that in the description. And if I don't, please call me out for it and I'll add it in afterwards. But basically the idea is to, instead of like casting your net wider and picking up lots and lots of new hobbies and like lots of new things and just, you know, spreading yourself super thin and constantly trying to do more and more, it's the concept of instead choosing to go a bit deeper in the things you're already interested in. So like instead of picking up 3 new hobbies, to just, you know, focus on getting better at the ones you already have. And I am like a chronic hobby picker-upper. And then inevitably after like a month, I get bored and never do it again. So I think it will be good for me this year to really focus on doing the things that I actually enjoy now. One hobby I'm definitely keeping up and want to really commit to is the one you're seeing right now, making videos and also Instagram posts. Like, I love it so much. I get so much joy from doing this. I love the creativity element, and I also just love getting to talk about something I love on camera for at least half an hour a week, and it's super fun. So yeah, I really want to put my energy into that. I want to engage with my special interests more, especially the ones that involve like going outside, because like I did not do that enough in the past year. Very much became a hermit for very long periods of time. I think things like walking in the woods and like looking for birds and stuff are probably things I really want to lean into, just so I actually go outside sometimes. Probably a good thing to do. And then I do want to read more, but I haven't set a number of books goal this year because I actually find them more unhelpful than helpful. Like, it stresses me out, and it also discourages me from reading long books, because if you're just aiming to read a certain number of books, you're going to be incentivized to read the short ones so that you can like rack up that number. And a lot of the books that I'm most excited about are pretty long, and it's been just making me procrastinate them, even though I don't really want to. So yeah, not going to set a specific number goal, just going to read whatever I want, whenever I want, at the volume that I want. In conclusion, I'm very excited about these intentions for the year. I think that they're all things that will make me happier and healthier. But let's move on to the next spread, which is yearlies. Now, this is when I'm going to talk about the moving my body more, because this year I'm going to use this to track one singular habit, I guess. And this is inspired by Tori on Paper, who does this, and in fact tracks the same habit as I'm going to, which is moving my body. To give some background on why this is like a thing that I need to do, but also struggle to do, I am very sedentary right now. Don't really do exercise, even just like walking, because I work at a desk and then I finish work and I walk to the sofa and then I stay on the sofa. And it's turning out to be not that great for my health, particularly like aches and pains and stuff. I feel very like not physically strong and just creaky and achy and not how I want to feel, you know? And my general fitness is abysmal. I get so out of breath just walking up the stairs. My knees click all the time. And I've also found that movement and exercise in any form is really good for my mental health. So you may be wondering, if all of this is true, why don't I actually exercise? And I blame the British school system, because I was absolutely terrible at most like sports. And a lot of this is actually because I'm dyspraxic, which I didn't know at the time. It is something I learned during the autism assessment process, but I am like clinically clumsy and unaware of my body, have no hand-eye coordination. I'm just like a big, bumbling baby giraffe that has somehow also got drunk. Like, I'm not good at coordination and just, yeah, moving, basically. That meant that in PE, which is like British gym class for Americans out there, I just like failed at everything. Like, I was dreadful. And the teachers didn't encourage me. Nobody helped. Nobody like was compassionate about it. I just got labelled as that kid who was really bad at PE by the teachers. Yeah, nobody helped. And it made me very resistant to the idea of exercise, because if you're going into PE class every week for like, how many years? Age 5 to 18. No, 16. Yeah, so like 11 years. And being told like, yeah, you're not great at this, it's not going to incentivize you to actually move your body for fun, because you just learn to associate it with embarrassment and just being overall not a great thing to do. Left me with lifelong negative views of exercise that are just not good for my health. I'm starting to suffer because of my lack of movement. I want to find ways of moving that I do find fun. And in here, to come back to the planner, in here I'm going to track the days on which I do that. And I'll probably write what I did that day. I'm not gonna push myself to be like, I've got to do this 3 times a week, every week, because like that's just not realistic for me. If I'm having a week of migraines, I can't lift. Like that's a recipe for disaster. I absolutely cannot do that. Just doing it, just actually exercising, right? Just moving my body somehow is the goal. Then at the bottom here, I'm gonna track my like social media stats, because as I said previously, I do want to really like put a lot of energy into this year. And I think it's nice to track the milestones. So each month I'm just going to write down how many videos I posted and how many subs I gained, how many Instagram posts I made and how many followers I gained, and just like anything else cool that happened to do with this account. Excited to see where the channel and the Instagram goes in 2024. The decoration I did on this page, by the way, is Coffee Monsters Co. monthly stickers that I don't think were actually intended to go on this page. I don't know where they were intended to go, but I don't think it was here because they don't fit. But I didn't care and put them here anyway because I wanted to. And I think it does look all right, you know? All right, on to monthly. This is going to be pretty simple because I'm just using it in the way I always have, which is as a calendar. I'm going to keep on tracking my events and tasks and whatnot in here, and then decorating by theme. Obviously, December's theme is going to be Christmas. As somebody who celebrates Christmas, there is really no other choice. And most of the stickers I've used here so far are Petite Gloom's winter sticker sheet, which is beautiful. Also got a couple of Coffee Monsters Co. little winter emojis going on. I don't really know why I only highlighted like every other day. I think I wanted to add some pops of colour, but I didn't want to commit to like doing it on every day. Like this doesn't signify anything. This was just me randomly highlighting stuff. Jury's out on whether it looks good. I think it looks all right, but yeah, just going to keep using these as a calendar. There's not really that much more to say about them, except I'm going to use the sidebar and the bottom bar as like a reflecting on the month type of deal at the end of every month. And I'm also going to track like when I want to post videos in here. The next thing to talk about is the weeklies. And this is where I want to talk about how I'm actually managing to use this book despite the fact that we're still in December, because the official weekly pages don't start until, oh, why is it on the 8th? I need to, did I put the tab on the... Anyway, yeah, the official weekly pages don't start till the 1st, but I really wanted to start using this book. It has been sitting on my shelf for so long and I just really wanted to get started in it. So I realised that there are 3 weeks left in December at this point. In the monthly section of the Hobonichi Cousin, they give you all of the 2024 months and then the first 3 months of 2025. I never use those like next year monthly pages. I just don't. So I thought, why not convert the 2025 monthly pages into just like fake weeklies? Because they have 7 like bars, just like the weekly pages do. So like, why not give that a go? And I did. I'll show you what that looks like. Like, it's not the best looking thing ever, but it serves a function and it means I can use this book immediately. So yeah, I'm happy I did it. So this is next week's spread. And what I did was I covered up the month and like the row of days of the week with this washi tape. And then I added like daily headers. I covered up the number here with just like the heading notes and the one here with tasks. And I'm going to cover up these numbers with my emoji stickers that I always put in like 2 a day. So like I could just cover the numbers up with those. And I think by the end, you won't really be able to tell that it was originally a monthly spread. Like, it's not going to look just like the weeklies, but it's going to be good enough. One kind of elephant in the room here is obviously this does look very different to what I was doing in my Cousin of Eck, where I used to have 3 headings of AM, PM, and evening. I've decided to do away with that, at least for now, because, full disclosure, my fatigue has been so bad lately. I am so tired all the time. No matter how much I sleep, it doesn't seem to do anything. It's particularly bad in the mornings. And it means that I'm just not really doing anything in the morning. So like for all of last week, all I was writing in the AM section was slept in or woke up early but couldn't do anything because I was too tired. It's just not really worth me splitting it up in that way right now because I'm not using the mornings. My afternoons are basically just work because I'm sleeping in, so I'm not working in the morning, so I have to do it in the afternoon. So really the only thing that's different each day is the evening. So what I've decided to do instead is just have like one big section for notes about the day. And it means I'm not forced to write something about the morning and something about the afternoon. I can just write about the most exciting and interesting events of the day, no matter when they happen. And I think that's right for me right now. And at the bottom here, I'm still going to have room for tasks like I did in my previous book. And yeah, I'll do the same for obviously the other 2 weeks in December that are left. I've already put the washi tape in because I wanted to, so I did. but I haven't like set them up properly yet. That is for future me to do. Anyway, that I guess also kind of covers how I'm going to use the weeklies, like the real weeklies. I'll turn to a real weekly. I'm just going to split it up, as I say, into just like one big notes chunk and then one big tasks chunk. And I think that'll work really well for me. I'm going to keep pretty much everything else the same, like still decorating with the emoji stickers, still having a to-do list here, still using washi tape, if not every week, then at least most weeks, because I do like how that looks in the weekly. And yeah, it'll kind of just be a daily memory keeping practice, but just in a less structured way than previously. I'm excited to give that new version of the weekly a try. It's going to be fun. Next up is the like turning a page or turning the pages. I said the word page so many times it doesn't feel real anymore. These pages, basically, yeah, turning the page, the ones right before the dailies, where they give you basically two like graph paper pages. This is basically just like my fun stuff spread. This is a list of the books that I want to read this year, most if not all of them, and the games I want to play this year. You'll notice there are fewer books on here than there were in like this very similar list I did a few weeks ago. I decided that having 45 books on my list was just like too much. Like it was very imposing. It was very stressful. I just didn't think I could do that. So I decided to only write the like highest priority books on this list. Like I still have the other ones. I'll read them at some point, but these are like the top priority ones. I say that these are only the top priority ones. There's still 32 of them, which is a lot, but it's not 45. So it feels better. These books all excite me. When I look at these, I'm excited to dive into all of them. And that is how I want to feel about reading again in 2024. Because we're now in like late December, okay, mid-December, and I still haven't finished a book since August. Like, I'm still in the slump. So I really just want to bring back the excitement and joy of reading for me. I think part of the problem is I made it too much of a thing. Like I started that separate reading journal. I really committed to like taking good notes and writing good reviews, and I think I psyched myself out. Like I made reading not fun because I put too much pressure on myself to read in a certain way. Like I had to read in order to craft good reviews and to share my thoughts on it, when I just want to read for fun now. So I have kind of retired the reading journal. I'll use that notebook as a private journal at some point, and I just want to read and do it for fun and not worry about taking notes and not worry about crafting a good review and just, you know, find the joy in it again, basically. As for the games to play, I ended up not including the wish list on here like I did in like the test version of this, because I really just want to focus on playing the ones I actually have rather than looking at the list of all the ones I could buy. So yeah, these are just the games I actually own, and I definitely want to finish the story-based ones. For the no story ones, like there is no end really, but maybe I can make some progress on them. And then I've got the ones I haven't started yet. And I probably won't dive into any of these until I've actually finished the story-based ones, because I've got to stop just starting games and not finishing them, you know? It's my toxic trait. Moving on though to the last little thing here, and that is basically just a little list of my current special interests. Engaging in them is a very, very important part of looking after myself as an autistic person. Like if we don't engage in them, we get cranky and sad and are more likely to have things like meltdowns and shutdowns. So yeah, very important for me to engage with these things. And I thought it would be nice to just have a quick reference list of them. If I start to realise like, oh, I'm feeling a bit antsy and weird, just flick to this page, pick a special interest and run with it. Maybe I'll watch some Frasier. Maybe I'll play Animal Crossing. So yeah, that's the fun stuff pages. And then on to the daily pages, which are kind of blank right now because, yeah, I haven't started them. This is going to be where I commonplace, and I'm not actually going to pay attention to dates at all anymore. Like in my Cousin Avec when I was commonplacing, I tried to like at least keep it within the month. So like only commonplace in January in the January chapter? That's not right. Section. Chapter, what am I saying? Anyway. In this cousin, I'm just going to completely disregard dates. And part of the reason I'm doing that is because I want to start using it in December. So obviously, I'm already breaking the rules if I start in January and December. But yeah, I also just want to put less pressure on myself to have to write something like every day. So I fill up the January pages in January. Like, I just don't really want to do that anymore. I want to basically act as if this is day free. And side note, by the way, I really wish that Hobonichi did a day free that had the weeklies in. Like, that would be my dream planner. And I know other companies do planners like that, but I love the Hobonichi paper and the Hobonichi style so much. Like, I've tried other books and just didn't vibe with them. So yeah, Hobonichi, I'm begging you. Do that, please. It would just, it would make my life. But anyway, right now, they do still have dates in, but I'll just ignore them or cover them up with stickers and basically treat these as if they're blank pages that I can fill up as and when I please, not constrained by time in any way. You might be wondering why I've tabbed off all the months if I'm not planning to actually like stick to using them in the correct month. Surely this could just be like a big set of 365 pages without any division whatsoever. 2 reasons why I have these here. One is that when I added these, I was actually still intending on keeping to the months. That's a decision that I've only reversed like in the last couple of days. So yeah, past me did not know what she was doing. Secondly, I think this will still be useful because what I'm planning to do is on each monthly like title page, I'll do like a little index of how I've used that particular set of pages. So like the dates I suppose can serve as index references, and here I'll just write, you know, here's what I did on page 1, page 2, right up to 31. And having the tab here means I can then easily refer back to that. And it might help me to navigate the pages better when I'm looking back at them. So I'm basically going to have 12 little mini indexes spread throughout the book, which I think will be quite cool. But that's it about the daily pages, and there's just one last thing to show you, and it's marked by this little tab right at the end. So Helen at the Coffee Monsters Co., in her most recent monthly like flip through video for November, noted how she's written a letter to her like 2024 self in the back of her Cousin Avec. And I thought that was just like such a beautiful idea, very poignant, and will be very interesting to read back on at the end of the year. I'm going to write, you know, everything I learned in 2023 and how I hope 2024 will go. And then I can look back on it and see if it actually did go like that, and if I built on what I learned in 2023. But yeah, full credit to Helen for that idea. It's a brilliant idea, I love it, and I can't wait to sit down and do it. And that is everything. That is every way in which I'm going to use my Hobonichi Cousin in 2024. Let's turn back to the little inside cover page so I can look at my favourite things again. Yeah, that's how I'm going to use it. Let me know in the comments if you have a cousin, how you plan on using it, how you plan on using all the different spreads. And even if you don't have a cousin and are using a different book, would love to hear how everyone's going to use their notebooks this year. Because there's always such diversity, like everybody seems to use them slightly differently. And I think that's really interesting and fun to read about. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what your 2024 system is going to look like. Have a great week. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.